Welcome to Well, That Just Happened. I'm your host, Cody Spence.
And I'm your co-host, Mark Hawk.
This is a podcast about, do you want to tell them, Mark?
Yeah, so this is a podcast that takes a look at news stories from around the world.
Some that shock us, some that have us asking what just happened, and some that we just found interesting.
So if you like the show, please subscribe and leave a review.
We're on YouTube and any other podcast platform.
And with that being said, all that's left is, let's see what's happening this season. Okay, so the first story I have for you this week is kind of frightening if you think about it.
Fantastic.
Because, all right, how often do you take your kids and wife to a fair?
Every year.
Okay. Here.
Am I not going to want to go to a fair anymore? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, I mean, it's in Mexico, so it could be different, but...
Okay.
All right, woman falls from fair ride before it smashes into her.
That is one of my biggest fears of all time.
There's a video of it.
No.
Yeah, where, like, it flips upside down, the ride comes open, and the lady's hanging on the bar, falls down on the ground, and then the ride comes around and hits her off the platform.
Oh.
And she lived.
I was just going to ask, did she die?
All right.
Is this all ridiculousness?
No. They had a video of it, and there's another video of a guy who fell off a ride, also in Mexico at a fair.
Don't go to ride on Mexico.
Yeah. So a woman who fell from a fair ride before being hit by it as she laid on the platform below. The woman's safety restraint flew open midair as the ride, called the Pendulum, flipped upside down. The woman was at a fair in Juarez, and the footage was seen dangling from the top of the ride, then fell. Screams can be heard by other riders. The lady was helped to her feet by bystanders while workers tried to stop the ride. So yeah, they actually helped her to her feet. Like, I mean, I saw the video and I could not believe that she got up and walked away from that.
She got soccer punted.
By a ride and got up.
Ow. How far did she fly?
It was not like a super tall ride, but it still, I mean, it was scary. And you got to figure
Physics.
When them rides come around, they don't go slow.
No.
I mean,
Physics.
Yeah. So, and then they closed the entire fairground because they didn't have the correct permits and security measures in place. And there have been no updates on the injuries that she may have suffered. But like I said, there was a video. She did get to her feet. But I mean, I was watching it and I'm like, how did you get up and walk away from that? But, you know, in November before this, an 18-year-old, Andres Perez, was on a ride called Turbo Force while at a fair in Tlaxcala, it's in Mexico. He fell 131 feet. But he was saved by, like, the netting underneath. Like, can you imagine, though? It's like falling on, like, a trampoline almost. But can you imagine 131 feet?
I imagine it, but I imagine, like, a cartoon. You hit it, and then you go through, like, a cheese grater.
Yeah, see, that's... I mean, 131 feet's a long way to fall.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, they had to shut down the ride to put safety measures in place. They don't care about safety in Mexico. It's not their top priority. That fair is there to make money, and safety is expensive. All right. But now for a lighthearted story. I laughed when I read this one.
Okay.
All right. Pizza roll pooper arrested after grocery store incident.
What?
Oh yeah, I said this one's kind of gross, and it scarred the family. So Shirley Wright Johnson had a crappy shopping experience, literally. She said she was at a store in Oklahoma with her two daughters when she reached for a bag of pizza rolls, and then she soon saw shit on her hand as well. Someone, oh yeah, she reached in for a bag of pizza rolls, and when she pulled the bag out, Not only did she pull the bag out, but she had shit on her hand. So, someone shit in the freezer on a bag of pizza rolls, then covered it up with other items. She said, I grabbed the bag, felt something smushy, and so I turned it over, and there it was. I was upset, felt violated. She cleaned her hands, but the whole way home, her and her kids still thought they smelled shit. Surveillance footage identified a man as a person of interest. He was taken to Cleveland County Detention Center. The police said they will release the man's name if he is charged with it. The man also allegedly was taking pictures of women in the store.
What a weirdo.
So, this guy walks into a grocery store, shits in the freezer, and then he's going around taking pictures of women.
What is this person's train of thought, do you think?
I was expecting them to say influence of drugs or whatever, but obviously he's just a person of interest. You know, I mean, if they have surveillance footage, I mean, I would definitely think you'd be able to see someone.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Why this person's like, what did he do on surveillance footage to make him a person of interest? I can't talk tonight. It's just was it him trying? Did he open the freezer door and in there just a little extra too long, or is he seen pulling his pants down, jumping in the freezer?
See, that's what I'm wondering. If he was like trying to get some pizza roll, he's like, "Oh man, I gotta go, and I ain't making it." It's like, I'm just gonna pop a squat here, and then he's like, "Uh-oh." Just covers it up.
They're not gonna sell this many today.
Yeah, you know.
I wonder how fresh it was.
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, it's in a freezer, but if it's still warm when you reach into the freezer...
And she said it was smushy. So it didn't freeze yet. And then, on top of that, I was wondering when it said he was taking pictures of women, was he like, you know, I don't know about you, but like when I'm taking a shit, I'll get on my phone and play a game or something. Maybe he was just like, well, I'm taking a shit in the freezer. I'm just going to take some pictures of these women.
When you said the picture detail, part of me thinks, did he take a picture of the woman reaching in for it too?
Oh, maybe he was getting off on it.
Maybe
smushy shit. I don't know.
There's some weird things out there.
Hey man, there's so many kinks out there that you just wouldn't even know. Like, I mean, you watch them German porn videos, man. They like to poop on each other's chests and stuff, and pee and stuff.
I learned that from South Park.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, there's some fetishes. I don't know if that's what this was, maybe. But yeah, they didn't have a video of this one, or I probably would have watched it just to see if he was taking pictures while he was shitting. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of messed up.
Kind of.
All right. All right. Yeah, a lot. All right. And here we go. Florida men, one dressed in a bull onesie, attempt to burn down house with ragu sauce.
How?
It's Florida.
How?
All right. So, Derek Irving, 36, and John Silva, 28, were arrested after breaking into a home and stealing a flat-screen TV and an air conditioner. The man who lived there got an alert on his phone from a security system that motion was detected in the home. A towel was placed over the camera, so he called police. When police get there, they saw a red SUV trying to leave. The suspects told police they were picking up clothes from the house. The victim told the news station one suspect had on a bull onesie. A deputy said they had an air conditioner, vacuum, TV, heater, weed grinder, and an empty jar of ragu in the vehicle. Deputies found burning pot of ragu and a washcloth near the stove burner. The victim said, they tried to make it look like I left stove on, but who wakes up at 2 a.m. to make sketty? Silva and Irving said they knew the man due to past sexual encounters. The
What?
victim also said, "It started as a relationship that lasted a week. I let him use my car for 4 months. Maybe he's angry about that, or maybe because I gave him $150 to fix his teeth."
Oh my god.
Silva and Irving were charged with unarmed burglary, grand theft, and arson.
My god.
So, okay. They
Why
put a
would-
rag near the stove when they were cooking the ragu, but why did you even have to cook ragu?
Yeah, but why keep the jar?
That's a good point.
Like, I don't know, is that like a trophy of it? Are they gonna that's a weird detail.
Yeah, well, I mean, because it said at first that they just took like a TV and stuff, and then they said there's like, a heater and a weed grinder. I mean, unless they brought that shit with them, I don't know. But yeah, what a way to like try to set somebody up for arson or whatever.
Yeah.
Just
Well, didn't it say like there was like a cloth or something that was in the ragu?
no, they left a dish rag by the burner as they were cooking the ragu. You know what I mean? They tried to make it seem like he was irresponsible, making sketty at 2 a.m. and had a rag near the stove, so it would look more like an accident.
That's wow.
They thought into that one.
They did, and
I mean, like a whole backstory.
I love the backstory part of it. I gave him 150 to fix his teeth, and
and it made him mad.
It paints a picture. It really does paint a picture, especially when you say Florida involved. I'm thinking methed out, no teeth.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, and yeah, the insult wasn't that the relationship was there and ended, but you were like, your teeth are just messed.
Well, the person said they were like, it was a relationship that lasted a week. That's not a relationship.
But then he let him borrow his car for 4 months, and gave him $150 to fix their teeth. Like, come on, like you went above and beyond, and they're still trying to burn down your house and steal your shit. That's messed up.
Yeah,
only in Florida.
My people. All right, so for my stories tonight, I have something a little bit different, and this one is something I know you and I have talked about in the past.
That could mean many things.
It very well could. Well, it's not dirty.
Oh, okay.
It is. Well, I'd say it is kind of angry in a way, which is why I somewhat relate to this. And I think this will spark a conversation. So, this one I'm not gonna try to segue like how I normally ask you some shit.
Yeah.
So this comes from CNN, and at the age of 35, Kate Bowler was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. You know who Kate Bowler is?
No.
Kate Bowler is like an author and worked for like the news and stuff. She was told that she gets about 2 years to live.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So since then, constantly people are saying, you'll get through this, you're strong, blah, blah, blah. 6 years later, she's still alive. She's cancer-free. She's fine. So she writes a book. She wrote a book called No Cure for Being Human and Other Truths I Need to Hear. And she reflects on the epidemic of denial that results in so many of us refusing to gracefully come to terms with, that you can die. You're not immortal. Come to terms with reality. And she's fed up with toxic positivity. And as soon as I read that, I went, ooh.
Because people were telling her you'll get through
yes,
this and
so, I mean, I don't really need to go into the whole gist of everything else, because it's a whole bunch of her quotes. But a lot of things, like the one thing that stood out to me, which I think is relatable for here, is it's nearly impossible to live in America and avoid the trite admonishments to think positive. When you lose your job or that, everything happens for a reason. When you go bankrupt for medical bills, even though you have health insurance, chances are you have delivered these empty platitudes in an effort to be helpful. And that's pretty much the gist of what I wanted to get at, and why I think this is a conversational piece is because what she's saying is she's going through something so hard and so detrimental and all these other things that are going on, but when you constantly have that, you're going to be great, you're going to make it through, and all that extra positivity, and those moments, you're kind of like, shut the fuck up. Like, it feels it coming from somebody who's not going through something like that, so obviously you take it with a grain of salt. But I would say is more of like, let me breathe. Quit, like, come talk to me like a normal person. Don't remind me of the terrible thing that I'm thinking about constantly. Give me a segue away. You know, if I'm going through cancer, come up and tell me a cancer joke. You know, or come up and tell me a joke about
fucking your mom.
There's that. But, you know, like, take my mind off of it. Don't give me positive reassurance, because then that gives you this false sense of, like, everything is going to be okay. And then when it's not okay, you set me up to crash and burn.
Yeah, I get that. That is pretty messed up. And, you know, sometimes, yeah, you don't want to hear it. Sometimes you just be like, man, that sucks. Or something like that. And I'll be like, oh, you're going to get through this. Yeah. I mean, I guess you don't want to hear, oh, man, you're going to fucking lose all your hair and you look like an ugly bastard. But you gotta find that middle ground.
You can say that kind of stuff, though, but put it in a funny way. You know, you can, there is such thing as dark humor. You have
that.
You know, we have dark humor, so you can do that to kind of shed light on a subject, but not make it so damn depressing. Yeah. And then when that constant positivity, to me, is, I hate it, absolutely hate it, when I'm watching something or listening to something and it turns into this giant feel-good moment, this touchy-feely, like, everybody's wonderful and you're gonna make it through everything. And there are things out there, and there are people out there that aren't good people, that make bad decisions, that go through situations that they will never recover from. Yes, it's nice to put your hand out to help them and try, but there is a time where it becomes too much. And that's, granted, that's just my opinion. I know it might piss some people off.
I just have a different thought altogether. Like, you got the wheels turning in a different direction than you're probably expecting. Like, because, okay, the Make-A-Wish, is that only for kids, or does they do that for adults too?
I think they do it for adults too.
Okay. I mean, I imagine there's some specifications on, like, how far you can go.
I would imagine.
Okay, yeah, all right. Well, you know, because, like, for me...
What the fuck are you thinking of?
I want them to tell Britney Spears to have sex with me. If I get cancer, you know? Like, hey, fuck this guy, he's dying. But not in a mean way, you know what I mean?
Oh, fuck.
It was a thought, you know, because you're like the cold cancer thing. I'm like, man, if I got that, I would try that, you know, see if it works.
Okay, that's fair.
I thought
I wouldn't be surprised that you would try that. Actually,
I would. I promise you that will be the first thing I do.
Like, okay, so I know we're kind of pressed for time for our segment here. I really want to get to this next one. So, have you ever taken a picture or something and you got somebody photo bombing in the background and you're just like, that would have been a good picture?
Yeah.
You ever, you know, like, up on, like, Facebook, you could do, like, sell the Facebook flea market, you take a picture, post it up? Well, if you're trying to sell something on the Facebook flea market, what would be something you definitely don't want to have in your picture?
A sex toy in the background. Because I've seen pictures of women. No, seriously. Have you ever seen Selfies Gone Wrong?
No.
Yeah, this chick took a picture of herself, and in the mirror, you can see her suction cup dildo in her tub.
What?
Yeah, it was funny.
Wow.
You never seen that?
No.
Yeah, like, you'll be reading an article on Facebook or something, and then, yeah, there would just be, like, an article, like, selfies going wrong, and you're like, all right, click on this. And then, yeah, like, a woman will be, like, taking a selfie, and she's taking a shit. Or a suction cup dildo. Like, it's things like that that people don't think.
Wow. Well, this person definitely did not think.
Okay.
So, Missouri man trying to sell catalytic converter online arrested after large bag of meth seen in the photo.
Yes. Is that? Oh yeah, that's
Right
awesome.
there.
That is a big bag.
When I first came across the article, I'm like, I didn't see any meth, so I had to scroll back up. Like, holy shit, how'd I miss that?
See, it looks like coke to me.
Yeah, but you can see like the trinkets and stuff.
What that looks like.
But yeah, so Missouri Sheriff Department issued a reminder to people this week after a social media sales ad led to an arrest. Keep your drugs out of your online photographs. That's very nice coming from the insurance or the sheriff department.
I think so.
The sheriff was tipped off after the discovery of an eagle-eyed citizen who noticed someone trying to sell a catalytic converter online. It was Tuesday night that included a large bag of meth and a syringe. In the background, so Wednesday, detectives went to the man's house and served him a search warrant. You can imagine his surprise. Stone County Sheriff Doug Rader wrote on the Facebook post he still had 48 grams of meth and a pistol that he is forbidden to own. We have now provided him a new place to stay.
Oh wow, man! Can you imagine that? You're like, I'm gonna get some of my money for this, and then next thing you know, you're in jail.
Yeah, they don't release his name. It's just a 38-year-old man. But that one to me was just like, what? And that's the thing. Like, you can take photos and stuff. Like, it happened earlier. I took a photo of my kids, and my buddy was over, and he's in the background. I didn't realize he was in the background of the photo until my wife had said something. She's like, oh, I didn't know he came over today. I'm like, oh, yeah.
I imagine if it's who I'm thinking, and you could have easily caught him touching himself. Not related to the children. He just touches himself. You know who we're talking about.
And he listens religiously, so have fun with that. Hopefully it makes you laugh.
I think it will.
But yeah, so that was one of those stories where I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Because, like, when you have, especially when it's meth, like, I can get if you got, like, a baggie of weed out or maybe a joint on the table or something, but meth? And you're gonna post this up online?
And that was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And they said he had 48 grams left. That bag looked like there was much more than 48 grams when the picture was taken.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, he made some money or he had a good night before.
But yeah, he said that's just one of those. So for this episode, this was going to be my PSA, is check the background of your photo.
Yeah, especially females. I'm telling you, it's funny. All right. Well, we'll touch more up on that in the wrap-up.
I don't know why, but when you said we're going to touch up on it, and when you talking about the sex toy thing, it just took my head to a dirty place, which is not good. Anyway. In our weekly wrap-up, we discuss some of our personal opinions and ideas. So let's see what we thought this week.
Okay.
Okay, so for this wrap-up, I want to touch back on the pizza rolls.
Yeah.
And the poop-covered pizza rolls. Because the train of thought there, I'm not connecting it. Why pizza rolls? Because that's one of the things, like, if I'm going back before, like, having a wife and kids, that was my dinner of choice.
I keep a couple bags in the freezer.
Yeah, it's such a common item. That's why I feel like it was deliberate.
Maybe they overcharged for him and he thought it was a shitty deal. I don't know. Some people just, when they're on meth or any other kind of drugs, man, they just do stuff and don't think about it.
Well, you made a comment about, like, when you're going poop, you want to use your phone and stuff. In my mind, I'm also wondering, like, if he did hop in the freezer to do this, what did he do? Did he pull his phone out to read anything while he was doing it? Or did he just grab like a bag of frozen peas and take a look at it? Reading the bagel bites on the back.
Or the picture thing, too. Like, you know, you've been in a store before, you see someone in a tight dress or something like that, and you're like, oh, that looks nice. I mean, this guy just takes it to a new level. Walk by, you know, lean down, snap a picture. Nice. You know, he just, I don't know. It's hard to say why people do what they do.
That's fair.
I would say the next thing, we definitely never go to a fair in Mexico, apparently.
God, no.
Safety precautions are
Dude,
not on their list of priorities.
I've seen Final Destination 3. I have that in my mind anytime I go on a ride.
Well, see, the way they put them together so quickly like that, and...
Think about the staff that works at these fairs.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's always been an issue with me, is the staff. I watched it, this one amusement park we went to over the summer. He had to go in and do maintenance on... He had to go in and, like, oil something up. And the guy said, hey, do you want me to stop the ride? He's like, nah, I'll do it as it's going. And I'm like, no!
As I said, safety is not...
No, and this was one of those ones, like, where you get those, I don't know, you got that bench that comes down, like an umbrella, and they, like, really far spin around at a decent speed. This thing went up, I'd say, probably 60 feet high.
No.
Yeah, and he's down there. Oh, I got this. And, yeah, no.
See, and those are the people, like the you know, people that sued when they lost their head jumping a fence for a roller coaster to get a hat back. Like, yeah, and that guy... You know, his family probably would have sued, and they would have got lots of money over the guy being a fucking idiot. Like, yeah. I just don't... I don't agree with that.
So, I guess the other one that I do want to touch on for our wrap-up is, I guess it would be the other story that I did, not the positivity one. But the oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on what I just said. So are you, I can tell.
Yeah.
But no, it was the meth.
Oh, yeah.
The wow, I can't believe that. Anyway, yeah, the meth.
We didn't do it, just so you know, like the math.
Yeah, just having something like that in the background of your image, like in this day and age with social media, you post something up. I mean, it's everyone can see it, and the crappy thing is, you post something like that, you can take it down, but all it takes is one person to either share that or screenshot it.
Yep,
it stays forever.
Done. Yep. And the thing is, like, how much was he charging for that Cadillac converter? Because apparently somebody got very upset about the price and was like, you know what? I don't like you. I'm turning you in for drugs. Because I would just look at that and be like, oh, yeah, dumbass got drugs. Ha ha. At the end, I'm not turning anybody in for that crap.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you upset someone. Like, it's over.
Maybe it was a drug deal thing.
It could be. I don't know. I just don't like that. Like, people should just mind their business. I mean, if this guy's doing drugs, unless he's selling that to your kids, I mean, you could have waited for him to OD and you would have got yourself a free Cadillac converter. Just saying.
On that note, I'm ending this episode.
That's a new PSA.
Well, that just happened.
If you like what you heard, tune in next week to see what else we find.
Also, please leave a review, a like, and subscribe.
If there's something you think is interesting and would like us to address, then reach out to the show and let us know.
We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, pretty much anywhere you want to reach us.
And with that being said, this concludes our episode of Well, That Just Happened.